this day and age, to be successful in affiliate marketing, if you don't have an in-house channel to prove your offers, or you've been doing it for long enough that you can, like you're just so good at it, which is very, very rare. But if you don't have an in-house way to get traffic, you will not be able to be successful in the affiliate world. Welcome, affiliated listeners, to another episode of Pillow Talk, with Kyle Costeca and
Thomas McMahon.
And today we are going to be talking about how you could take your own pillow conversations, whether you're an affiliate or an offer owner, and how we're seeing super affiliates and super offer owners pair together to create what I think is a powerhouse of the performance agency, right? The performance agency model. That's my tag for it, and I made it. Copyright and pending, right? Is that the word? Trademark, whatever.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Which usually doesn't involve a performance agency at all. So
No, it doesn't. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit. I think this is something we've seen growing a lot, which is we're starting to see partnerships with affiliates and offer owners creating kind of a really dynamic duo of growth and scale for both sides. But it's happening in a lot of different ways. So Thomas, what are some things that you've been seeing? Or maybe let's actually step it back. Before we get to specifics, why is this so impactful? Why do you think this is something that people should be doing more of?
I think the leveling up of the industry is forcing some of this more nuanced relationship to happen, right? The wide open offer with tons of affiliates promoting it still works, but it's getting harder. And where people are finding success and beating the competition as a seller, as an offer owner, is really how do I work better with either one or a small handful of super media buyers who can push a lot of front-end customers a day instead of going, I'm going to get an army. They'll go get an army later, right? I'm going to go scale bigly with this person or persons, and then I can build a scaled affiliate program behind that. But how do I get this offer off the ground scaling in a big way?
Yeah. So honestly, you said just a couple of things you said that I wanted to follow up on. You said the industry is leveling up. Well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean when you say just that everything's leveling up?
Well, I think every industry grows and changes and levels up to a degree, right? But I think what we're seeing is this concentration effect where to get the best traffic, you really have to pay the most and convert the best, which has never changed. But what has changed is CPMs and CPAs have gone up and up and up and up, and they continue to. And as it happens in any marketing industry, the way you market and how you market and what you're doing has to keep incrementally getting better than the competition. Mm-hmm. And so we're at a point now where, say, when I joined ClickBank almost 9 years ago, I feel old. It was easier, for lack of a better term, right? Your offer didn't have to convert as well to get a bunch of affiliates promoting it. If you're an affiliate, you didn't have to be as good with your creative because traffic was cheaper. Getting in eyeballs was cheaper. There was a boon of fresh traffic sources like Facebook coming on, YouTube, right? That were all kind of really blowing up at that time, and getting in front of eyeballs was a lot cheaper. Now these platforms are more established, and getting in front of the right eyeballs is more expensive. So the offers that can do well for these super affiliates and what they're looking for are more limited.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I'm glad. I just wanted to talk about it because I think one of the things is we don't talk about the pandemic that much anymore, but one of the big terms that people discuss is an acceleration of activity on the internet well before what we thought it would be. In one area we've really seen that happen, I think now, and we'll say that the pandemic's over, but we're all living through after, is through that CPMs and the amount of people, marketers, businesses, and companies heavily investing into social tier one networking, right? It allowed them to break away from all those TV contracts. Guess who's not spending any money on TV? Everyone, right? Like it's really, really going down, and that emphasis is getting put on tier one social, which just levels up the game. And on top of that, a bunch of new people entered into the market. So there's established vendors, you have big players and new people just coming in, all consolidating, almost, I want to say saturating, but at least making the pool get pretty damn full, and makes it a lot harder to stand out and compete, right? So I just wanted to expand that a little bit more. Now, we could see the benefit to an offer owner say, hey, cool, I get to work with 1 to 2 super affiliates and they drive a lot of traffic for me. Awesome. But for an affiliate, why would they want to try and come up with a deal like this?
The burden of a super affiliate is it's often a one-person shop or a very limited team. And what can happen is if they're chasing the next big offer all the time, they can get fatigue. They can be, sorry, let me back up. If they're competing with all the other affiliates out there on the same big offer, their creatives fatigue incredibly fast, right? It's very common for affiliates, creatives to get ripped off very quickly now with spy tools and things like that. And if they can work more collaboratively and have exclusives with an offer or offers, instead of just trying to find the next offer that they can convert with their campaigns, they can have more longevity with their campaigns and be more profitable over a longer period of time with their pieces of creative.
Yeah, no, I just want to bring that up because that's so true, right? When you have, we just mentioned there's a lot more people in the game, and that creates a lot more competition, and also people that are willing to do things that previously it's like, well, you don't do that, right? No one would do that thing.
Yeah.
But now some people are like, well, I'll do it because I just want to win. And so it does create a little bit of sometimes a challenging environment, especially for the super affiliates, particularly on YouTube is an area where you see that really get pretty nasty pretty fast with ripping videos and ads. But yeah, it's definitely really impactful. So now let's talk about how to set these up, because I agree. When you could be able to have as an affiliate more time to really profit off an offer, alter it, be in close contact with the offer owner as well. So, hey, these creatives are working. Can you adjust this in the VSL? Hey, can you send me stats? Like what Vidalytics does a great job where you could actually send those affiliates the video stats and they could start optimizing their video ads based on your VSL stats. So it really allows for a lot more collaboration and accelerated performance where both sides are winning and everybody could really be happy. So that's the desired effect. So now let's talk about how do you go about doing this? This sounds like heaven, Thomas, but what do we do to set something up like that? So how do we get started?
This is the tricky part to get started, right? Because it depends on where you're at in the seller game or the offer owner game.
Yeah.
I guess we have to make some assumptions here for brevity.
Well, let me ask this. Yeah. Does it matter where you're at?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
I'm going to challenge that later, but
no,
yes.
challenge it. Challenge me. No, because right, if you're, hey, I just launched my offer, my first offer. I want a bunch of affiliates now. Great. But that offer is unproven. The other thing too is you are unproven as a offer creator. Getting a affiliate worth their salt who knows media buying and knows creatives to spend the time and energy on your offer, which is unproven, while you're unproven, is going to be a very big uphill battle, right? There are some things you can do, like hiring an agency to be your traffic source. But something you need to do is prove your offer out on the coldest traffic possible, which is usually not email affiliate traffic or something like that. And how do you get these media buyers to even test your offer who want proven offers? Very uphill battle.
Kind of chicken or the egg you're stuck in. Yep.
So that's where we coach a lot of our clients to go be your own media buyer. Either learn it yourself, hire someone if you've got the budget, hire an agency, right? But learn media buying, get cold traffic. I don't care if it's small potatoes traffic a day. Some people say it's not worth doing small volume per day on like a Meta. I'm like, well, it's better than nothing if that's all you have, right? So get started, learn how to be a media buyer to some degree. Because even if you can get to say, let's say 80% ROAS, do you think a good media buyer who really knows what they're doing with that same campaign could get to break even or better? Probably.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't know what the heck you're doing and you got to 80%. Someone who's an expert can probably get that to 1.2, right? And be profitable. Just depends. Now, if you're at 40%, you're still going to get good data and go, okay, I'm at 40% ROAS. Why is that? Is the AOV too low? Do I need to work on the offer itself as a conversion rate? Where do I need to fix this? And as you're fixing this, you're getting better data. And now you're thinking more like a media buyer. So when you go out and have these conversations that we're alluding to, you're in a much better position instead of just doe-eyed out there, not really knowing what you're doing.
Yeah. No. So I agree. I will say I agree with the idea that the one predication on these offers to getting to where you could kind of create this type of relationship, unless you already have it and it's existing, is you need to have, and I would even say if it's existing, you should always have some arm internally that allows you to have paid media testing.
Yeah.
And like you said, whether it's agency or yourself, and I would even say in this day and age, to be successful in affiliate marketing, if you don't have an in-house channel to prove your offers, or you've been doing it for long enough that you can, like you're just so good at it, which is very, very rare. But if you don't have an in-house way to get traffic, you will not be able to be successful in the affiliate world unless you just get so lucky that you're so
Let's say
talented.
some of the OGs, if you will,
Yeah.
do treat affiliates in that way. They have the relationships with media buyers that they know they can get test traffic because they have a proven track record of producing good offers.
Yes,
right?
and so that would say is like it more on the news side, right?
Yeah.
But if you've already been established, yes, it's different. But that's also they know that once it hits, they've seen the top end of what their income could be when your offers are successful, right?
And the other thing too is we're using terms like top media buyer, super affiliate. This term is largely relative to where you're at, right?
That's what I was going to say next. So that was my challenge to you. So let me explain, because I think one of the things that's great here is if you have some internal traffic source, you might be at a smaller new level, and this is your first time. Guess what? There are affiliates that are at that same level, and it's more about matching the affiliate skill set and volume to your potential skill set and volume. So that's what I mean. It's like, it doesn't always matter. It's like, hey, if you're not up here, then you can't do this. No, you just need to find the affiliate that matches that. And that's where you guys could actually grow together, right? Yeah. They're at the stage, hey, I know some media buying. I'm still kind of new. And sometimes being that media buyer, you're chasing dying stars oftentimes, right? Like you hope to get a little bit of sun, but eventually by the time you're picking up those offers,
beautiful metaphor, but let's explain that a little better.
Okay, sorry.
Not better, but
I was going to circle back to
I know
it,
what you mean. Yeah.
Because the idea is we talk about like if an offer's, hey, you see it on the top of the marketplace, it's obviously doing incredibly well. But if it's open to everybody, that's a lot of affiliates that are promoting it. Yeah. And potentially by that time frame, like you mentioned earlier, the creatives are evaporating really fast. There's a lot of people promoting it. Eventually that offer might be more on the downslide of its performance because it's just all these things have a life.
Saturated, right?
Yeah, and even just the creative exhaustion, the actual VSL, if they're not optimizing the offer, maybe they're like, we've done it, we're moving on to another one. You might find yourself getting less support and less results from those offers than what you really could have if you were that small affiliate now working, not a small affiliate, but a mid-level affiliate working with a mid-level offer owner. Even if it's small, I think there's real value in meeting them where they're at and working together to create something special.
Tons of values. Too often, all the time, you see, I need the super affiliate, and they mean the best affiliate out there to promote my offer. It's like, sure, that'd be great. It could also be too much of a good thing if they actually do and flood your business and you don't have operations to actually handle that kind of scale. Seen that time and time again. Yeah. But often too, you're just chasing all these whales, then you've got a little dinghy, right? And you're not going to do well with that.
Yep.
On the flip side too, like you're alluding to, affiliates too small, chasing these big sellers, these big offers who don't have the time or bandwidth or resources to handle the smaller affiliates because they're working with these big super affiliates. And so it's like you have this mismatch happening on both sides. I've been super impressed with the Gold program and Ascend program we have here at ClickBank with Kirsten and Jordan running that, right? Because they're actually doing this and seeing good results with taking these affiliates who are in that 50K to 249K area, sub-platinum, and matching up with sellers in the similar bandwidth or small platinums, right? Who can go, cool, you have plenty of traffic that any seller would want. They might not just have the bandwidth to handle you. Let's get you involved with these sellers where you do make a meaningful impact to their business and you're both can get the level of support you need from each other.
Yeah. You're their super affiliate. Just be someone's super affiliate and find your version of super affiliate. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about how these deals should be structured. Because I think it's one thing to say, hey, exclusivity, sure, you're the only one promoting this. Like, what's the best way to kind of make these close partnerships? Because I think there might be a lot of ways to, swat a sloth if had you. But no one will get that joke if they don't know what we talked about before this episode started. But kind of walk through what you would think would be important things when you're starting to structure this deal.
I think it's a blend of being very clear in expectations without being over inundated in like contracts, right? You need flexibility on both sides. You don't want it to be so open-ended that, hey, you've got full exclusivity on everything. And now you can't give this offer to anyone else. And that affiliate hasn't really done anything with it. And they're sitting there, you're waiting for them. You're getting frustrated. They haven't sent traffic. They've sent a bit, but they haven't come back to it. And you're kind of just out there lost, right? You don't want it to be that kind of agreement, which happens a ton with newer offer owners doing this kind of thing. And now you're kind of stuck, not really sure what to do, and you're going to break this exclusivity agreement and damage your reputation, all this kind of stuff. So that's one bad way to do it. The other bad way is almost go too hot off right from the get-go. Yeah. And just, hey, here's DocuSign, here's all these agreements, here's all these things. And the affiliate's like, whoa, like, we haven't dated yet. I don't want to deal with this kind of thing. So you don't need lawyers involved at this stage, right? I think the middle ground here is clear expectations on timeframes, expectations of what the affiliate's going to do, how soon they're going to do it, and having performance benchmarks to earn exclusivity for longer periods of time.
I think that last one's one of the biggest ones that people are either afraid to do or don't think about is the performance side of it.
And it's really fair to both sides, right? It's like you need to know that, okay, hey, if you drive X many sales over this month, happy to do exclusive. Or I'll give you exclusive for a month, providing we hit, and to continue that, providing we hit this minimum threshold.
Yeah.
That minimum threshold needs to make sense for your business, right? It needs to be obtainable too. If it's like, I need to see 10,000 customers a month and this is your first offer ever, it's going to be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, again, know where you're at.
Yeah.
Recognize that, play in that space.
Yeah. What's the win for you today? What's like, oh my gosh, if I hit this, I would be like, hooray. All right, that's your benchmark. And that's going to be different for each offer owner and each offer. But one thing I say, like, I think that's perfect. So I think the next say that I would have people ask, what are the questions you should be asking in these situations for both sides? Like on the vendor side, questions I always think about is like your testing window. When you're optimizing, how long is that? And then what does that look like?
It's pillow talk. Should we do a little bit of role play?
Yeah, you want to do a little, you want to be affiliate or offer owner? Which one do you want to do?
I'll be offer owner.
Offer owner? Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Should we use our real names or? I've really been trying out Calvin. I think that's no. Anyway, all right, let's go. You start off.
Okay. We'll make some assumptions that
we've met. We've already decided. We've agreed to have this. We're gonna do an exclusive.
Yeah.
We're dating now. Okay, we're dating. You can't date anyone else.
Okay. Awesome. So hey, excited for you to run the offer. Just want to lay out some ground. Just only on the same page as you. Make sure we're on the same expectations.
Sure.
Yeah. So what kind of traffic are you running?
Meta is my goal. I've thought about springing into it, but I like some other stuff with YouTube and TikTok, but Meta is my core right now.
Okay. When you say core, is that like 80%? 90%?
It's like 90%. 90%. Cool. I just put a little sprinkle on YouTube, but definitely I think that's something I could do really well with your offer. So that's the thing. Like, don't think about it as just Meta. I have YouTube as well. Like it's both if we're going with this exclusive. So I definitely like to get exclusive on both of those.
Okay. Well, how much would you be launching on both to start?
No, I definitely I'd want to start with Meta first because that's what I know and I could prove to have success. I'm still not as experienced in YouTube at this point in time.
Gotcha. Would you be comfortable sticking with exclusive on Meta to start, since that's where we're going to be focusing on the traffic? And if we hit a certain volume of sales in 30 to 90 days, we can figure that out. Then if you start YouTube in that same period, we can branch over to exclusive there.
Well, how many sales would we be talking that I need to hit?
Yeah, well, help me understand, like how much volume are you doing on Meta versus YouTube?
Yeah, so I would say I'm spending probably about, we'll just throw out numbers, guys. I'm spending about $1 million on Meta, and I probably only do maybe 100,000 on YouTube.
Is that a day?
No, on a month.
A month?
Basis,
okay, yeah.
Well, wow. I'm not that cool, Thomas.
I mean, the other guy I was chatting with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so $1 million a month on 100,000 on YouTube?
Yep.
Okay. So what is that on a daily spend? That's what, roughly 30K?
Sure.
Something like that. I don't know. Math is hard. Creative writing major here. Bear with it. Okay. So I'd say if we can get to, I'd be very comfortable giving you exclusive on Facebook to start, knowing that you can produce that kind of volume. I won't have anyone else touch it for 45 days. Okay. Right? If you want to get started there. On YouTube, I don't really want to lock that up too much because I'm chatting with some other people who do primarily YouTube right now. Could get both running ideally and have a better shot at that. But I'd be happy to be chatting with them to where they don't have full exclusive unless they hit whatever we agree your exclusive on Facebook is.
Gotcha. So one thing though, I could agree on the YouTube side, but you mentioned the 45 days to get to that run rate. It normally could take me 10 to 14 before I could really push scale in a testing time frame. Would you be willing to extend that window maybe to 60 days just so I could have that full run rate in there? And then also, at least during that first period, just to help me test even faster, maybe give me an increased CPA or an increased rev share just so I could have more money to kind of funnel into the testing side of things. We could then reevaluate it afterwards, and once we get ready for scale, see what makes sense. But would you be open to that?
Can definitely do the 60-day, but I would want to see some, I guess, I've heard of some people who have a 60-day or whatever time frame, and then they don't see any traffic hit till like day 50. So I guess I'd want to see some traffic coming in
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I can make sure we start traffic within
There's
the
like
next
a minimum threshold we get set for something like that.
Yeah, for sure. I can make sure we start.
Yeah, so if we can have a minimum, happy to go up to 60. As far as CPA rev share goes, I'm already pretty strapped as far as what my margin is right now. But if your AOV is looking good and there's more margin there, I'm happy to entertain more as we develop this. I can share the data with you as we're
Perfect.
out.
Yeah, that works, man. We could totally figure something out. So let's just make sure we're meeting regularly so we could talk through the numbers and then we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pause real sad. There's one aside there that I think would be really interesting. Another question. I don't want to do it for this one because it'd be too specific. But I think for vendor and affiliate, one question I don't see enough people actually talk about because they're afraid they're going to reveal too much of their business. But it's really important when maybe you don't start there, but if you're going to build a close relationship, I'd always ask, okay, well, where are you getting most of your monetization? Where are you planning to make the most money? If that offer owner's like, it needs to be on the front end, maybe don't always be like, oh, well, let me just try and press more and more and more for CPA or higher CPA, because it's just going to tell you you're going to get more resistance on that front end if they have to profit or they're primarily like needing margin on acquisition.
You mean the affiliate asking the seller that, like, hey, where do you need to be, kind of thing?
Yes, especially when you said the thing, well, hey, I'm already strapped right now. Well, where are you planning on making money? That's going to be a really telling question and help you a lot going forward, so you know the right question.
Oh, sure. If they have a plan to
it.
monetize post purchase, or if they're like, I just need to make a couple bucks no matter what, right here.
Exactly right. Yeah. So if they're selling a membership and you want a little bit more money, look for the percentage of the membership versus give me more CPA, give me more CPA.
Yeah.
I think they're just ways, if you guys both understand how you're making money, guess what? You're going to both help each other win. So, but that was a great role play. I think we got a good deal there. And so, I don't know who your room number people are. I'm going to get a ring here soon enough. So, but guys, in general, I think it'd be that easy, right? It's important to know we have a benchmark for performance. You know what they need. They know what you need. It doesn't have to feel overly formal. But make sure there's at least some understanding and maybe something in writing. It doesn't have to be legal, just like, so if you say this number, it should be an email that references that, right? And definitely try and meet regularly with those kinds of people when you can.
I like to that, right? You were trying to push for exclusive on YouTube. I was like, happy to, especially if you could hit that 100,000 or something like that. But if we're going to focus on Facebook to start, don't want to lock that up entirely right now, right?
Very good. Yep.
There's room for negotiation in all of this. I think a lot of times sellers can feel like affiliates and media buyers have all the leverage in the relationship because they own the traffic, but they want good offers to push with some exclusive too. There's a reason they're having these conversations.
Yeah. No, and that's, I think, one of the biggest ones. I've seen many, many times people ask for, I want exclusive on everything, all traffic sources. They're not even running those traffic sources. And so you get locked up in potential. And even sometimes too, like one thing we didn't talk about is it doesn't always have to be exclusive entirely. Meta's a pretty big place. YouTube's a pretty big place. So you could have potentially multiple YouTube buyers, maybe 1 to 2, and then let that affiliate know it's only 2 people. But the great thing is they won't rip your ads.
Yeah, something I might have countered with if you're like, I really want the exclusive on YouTube. Like, okay, hey, I'm happy to do an exclusive for our funnel on YouTube, right? Meaning that whatever we do to enhance performance on this YouTube funnel, I'll keep exclusive to you. But I'm gonna, like the control, if you will, I'm gonna let someone else, if I get that opportunity, I want them to be able to push that as well. But for your creative, for this kind of thing, and I'm gonna keep this locked up. So if people are ripping your creatives, we can get them sorted.
For sure. And again, guys, this obviously could vary, right? We're not encompassing every single conversation out there, but I think the big thing to focus is there's a place for both of us to win. That doesn't mean you have no leverage. You need to have some marker performance. You need to have some expectation to keep everybody honest. And that's for the affiliate and for you, right? For them to know, okay, well, I do need to put some focus on this. I can't get too distracted. I made a deal. And then if they do get distracted and something comes up, they don't have to feel bad when you go, hey, it's fine. We could walk away. We've already agreed to it. It's not hard feelings necessarily if life happens. But I think the most important thing is be open, have that kind of conversation with somebody, get something laid out. And I think we could this is a great time to talk about, it could have amazing success. So what are some things, we don't have to give specific numbers or tell specific people. Can you give some scenarios, examples where you've seen this work incredibly well? Why don't you give us one, Thomas?
I mean, just this last weekend, right? All of a sudden, we see the new offer hasn't seen traffic yet, and it's doing over $300,000 a day. Right? Because it's with one affiliate, pushing this new offer that they made almost for this affiliate. I think that's the evolution of this. It's not just, I made this offer, now I'm looking for affiliates. It's as you have these relationships, it's like, hey, what's worked for you? What do you wish you had? What don't you have? Let me go make an offer for you.
Yep.
And now you're almost crafting an offer in partnership with this media buyer who's getting exactly what they want. And you can almost start from the ground up with them in the initial testing phase. And they know it's testing because it's new, it's for them. They might not be an official partnership where they're on the business right together, but it's just a partnership in the way you're structuring this exclusive arrangement for this offer.
Yep. No, and I'll give another example too. A very similar thing that happened just in the last couple months. Had a client come on. They had one affiliate to start, right? And they went all the way and were able to generate themselves to the top of a certain leaderboard area, really, really excel, and make a ton of revenue.
I think they had double
just one
diamond, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just one affiliate, right? So you could really have it where you just have one affiliate, you kind of keep that closer relationship, and they could really scale substantially. But the great thing I see is they scale differently. It's holistic. It's, hey, we need the AOV to be a little bit higher. Well, hey, I have this challenge. What are you seeing? And they were collaborating to continually get the offer so everyone's winning.
Yeah.
That's what I love about that type of connection is when both sides are winning, we see magic happen. And the great thing, it lasts a lot longer. And we could see more people winning. Oftentimes, when it's a big public offer, it's really hard, especially as you mentioned, in this leveled up world to compete against that with a lot of other people, where if we just isolate the wins and isolate the kind of the focuses, a lot more people could find success in what feels like a challenging time to do so.
I would say the cons of all of this, right, is it does create an ecosystem where there's more gated offers that are harder for any affiliate to get on. And we're starting to hear that already. People are like, I can't get on these offers. I know they're good. Let me add them. I'm like, no. But what that means is there's still room for the offers that are wide open.
Yep.
Right? You just have to have, as a seller, the bandwidth to handle a wide open affiliate program. And the smaller affiliates or the mid-tier affiliates, right, on a volume level and be able to cater to their needs and things like that. So if you want to go that route, still plenty of juice there. You just have to have the ability to handle it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think one thing too is give your offer a private window. How long, this is another good thing. If you're going to produce a lot of offers and you want to take advantage, you mentioned earlier, I love the idea of, hey, let's create a gate and a time frame that it's going to be private. And then after a certain period, we already are going to have another offer ready and we'd like to move that to private. So once you have the second one, send the other one out to pasture, right? It's still high performing, it's killing, those affiliates could still take it.
It's good. Yeah. Hey, this is going to be exclusive to you as long as you hit a minimum sales of X or minimum customer of X.
Yeah.
Right. And if it starts to dip below that, hey, are you cool if I start bringing some other people in?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I can actually ramp up again. Great. Maybe they just got distracted.
Yeah,
Or,
whatever it might be.
Yeah, this is starting to fatigue on me. I need to move elsewhere. Cool. Keep running as long as you can. I'm going to start having some other conversations.
Yeah.
Right. And start doing that.
Exactly. So there's always ways to open that up. But I think, again, like you said, there's a big opportunity for those that could do the large scale affiliate opportunities because a lot of affiliates are looking for that.
Yeah.
So, well, perfect. I think anything else, I feel like we covered that quite substantially. Is there
I
anything
think
else you
something we
want to mention?
alluded to but didn't quite hit that I want to talk about is just I think there's a evolution in the space where when CPA first rolled out on ClickBank, it was, I need to pay the maximum CPA I can, and anyone who wants it can get it. And we've covered in that episode with Dom, the CPA episode, right? Like why that doesn't work all the time, right? Your cash flow gets constrained, the reserves go up for very good reasons, right? Like the offer has to be liquidating. So I think what we're starting to see is sellers starting to understand that and going, okay, I need to be actually tactical with who I give a CPA versus rev share to.
Yeah.
So what I want affiliates to understand is that it's good and okay to test on rev share and have an agreement that you're going to either back into a CPA or split test both on different accounts, with different nicknames you have with the same seller. Go, hey, I want to split test both of this. I want to see your CPA. I want to see your rev share. I want to figure out where I back out the best.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think I just need a CPA because they hate refunds.
Yeah.
Totally get it. But if you're working with someone who has good operations, good customer service, you can actually probably make more often than not more money on the rev share side as a media buyer.
Especially if you're in an exclusive arrangement and you could start optimizing on AOV and upsells, all of a sudden it's a lot easier for you to kind of increase without having to be locked in that CPA. Now, I'm going to add one extra thing for sometimes some affiliates out there is like, well, I've built my system and tracking to only deal with CPA. And when I'm testing, the last thing I want to have to also optimize and look into is what my rev share is and what refunds and chargebacks are. It's just a complexity. So I would say if you're going to do that, understanding if someone's tentative to give you CPA, accept a smaller one, right? And you can even say, hey, I'm going to accept a smaller one because it's easier for me to
I just need to get testing. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, can we revisit a higher CPA or a higher rev share after my testing period? So again, we talk about sometimes we want to be closed off, but knowing what you need and vocalizing that and accepting a middle
because
ground
it's like,
can be
hey, I
very helpful.
typically need this CPA to hit real scale. I'm happy to test at X just to see if there's proof in the
Something
ground.
there, yeah.
And then they know, hey, actually, I'm never going to be able to get close to that because my AOV is a fraction of that.
Yeah.
Then you can have the conversation now. Okay, this is probably not worth me testing.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Or maybe it is. It's, yeah, hey, happy to. Yeah, if data looks good, happy to increase at that point. Just right now, before we know what your data looks like, need to keep it at this. That's perfectly healthy conversation.
It's
to
almost
have.
like a good relationship. You just have to communicate what everyone wants, right? Talk frequently, love each other. But no, that was really good. I think it's a good add-on there to mention that rev share and CPA stuff. So with that though, I think that again, I think the good way to think about this, guys, it's not everyone should only do exclusive deals and private relationships, but I think it's a really good thing, especially as we talked. There's a lot of travel coming up, or depending on when this drops, there's traveling going on right now. But it's important to know that when you're going out and networking, meeting people, or you just even happen to seeing affiliates that are promoting right now, it's a great time to reach out and see if maybe this is a good fit for you, as long as you find that right pairing.
Yeah, know where you're at, work with similar size, step above, step below, right where you're at, affiliate, same side on the seller.
Yep.
And just craft that clear expectations. So then if you need to go a different direction, it's clearly stated why you're doing that. And it's not like it saves the drama, right? So you can come back and work with this person again versus them feeling like you broke some agreement that was a handshake deal or vice versa, where they said they're going to test and then they never did anything.
Yeah.
We hear that constantly from events.
So much, yeah.
I met this awesome media buyer. They said they're going to test. Oh, they sent 100 clicks. That was it. Right? It's like, yeah, that probably is what they had bandwidth for, and and I can see their stats in ClickBank, and they're doing huge scale on this offer. They probably don't have time to really do everything they agreed to do, which is unfortunate when it happens.
Yeah. Well, and last thing I'll say is, if you want a perfect place to build on something like this, Platinum Summit at ClickBank. There you go. So if you can make it in, if you are a ClickBank client and you hit that platinum status, or you're finding yourself, hey, I think I could hit it before, say, maybe August, I would definitely put that emphasis and focus there, because Platinum Summit is a perfect place to have extended time to get to know people and make sure you can make that perfect performance agency relationship.
That's October 25th to the 29th in sunny Cancun, Mexico.
Look at that. Right after
clickbank.com/platinum-summit-2025.
Drake's birthday. So
how do you know that? That is,
I don't know. Why would I know Drake's birthday? I'm not sure.
Feeding sloths and Drake's birthday. Things about
it's almost if I shared his birthday, that might be the reason I know. But with that, guys, I think we've covered this subject in nauseam, not exhaustive. We could probably talk about this forever. We just got started on our role plays. But with that, we want to make sure that your ears aren't bleeding from hearing our voices for too long. We're going to continue role play and pillow talk, and don't take anything out of context with that. Until next time, please rate, review, subscribe, hit the bell so you are notified anytime something happens. And also, if you have any questions, comments, or things you need to see, even if you're just wanting to give some feedback or look for some help, please reach out at affiliate@clickbank.com so Thomas could read those emails and occasionally send them to me. And sometimes I do respond to them. So
rarely.
But I like to. I'd love to when I can. With that, though, what do we tell the people, Thomas?
Happy scaling.
Happy scaling. Until next time, be safe out there, guys.